On January 6th, Guerrilla teased us with yet another glimpse into the Forbidden West. We gained a closer look into the tribes we can expect to see, along with new locations, machines, and even more mystery surrounding the dangerous region. With all that said, let's dive in and break down exactly what we saw in Tribes of the Forbidden West. We first take a look at what's described to us as the eastern edge of the Sundom, a location that can be a bit misleading, as the eastern edge of the Sundom is the sacred land of the Nora, or the savage east of the Karja. But if you're already in the Forbidden West, like the tribes featured here, presumably the narrator included, the Karja border would be to the east. Here we see the familiar Oseram, presumably in the settlement of Chainscrape, hard at work and playing even harder, a staple of their culture, well known for their love of ale and fighting, along with their affinity towards building and tinkering. Next we see a large Karja fortress, potentially in the region of Barren Light, guarding the edge of the Sundom. This is an intriguing development, as we come to know that the Palace of Sunfall resides on what at least used to be the western edge of the Sundom, the last Karja stronghold before entering the Forbidden West. So how is this possible within the lore? Well, this gated stronghold could have been established by at least two previous Karja kings. Either Areve, 6th in the Radiant Line, or Jiran, 13th in the Radiant Line. Bold Areve is best known for pushing past the canyons of the Daunt with his great armies chasing the path of the sun and never being seen again. This directly led to the rule of his brother Basadid, the building of Sunfall, and the decree that made the lands beyond the fortress the Forbidden West. Areve's Karja would be the first, according to tribe records, to be in this region. But if we look closely, this structure is either being repaired or is still under initial construction, meaning it may have been established long after Areve. In my mind, this fortress was most likely built by the order of the Mad Sun King Jiran during the Red Raids. Jiran would break the decree of his predecessor and send troops beyond Sunfall and into the Forbidden West. There, the Karja massacred the Utaru and clashed with the Tenakth. It would make sense that Jiran in this incursion would wish to expand the Sundom and potentially ensure the new border was fortified against invasion. The Tenakth had already invaded the Sundom once before during the reign of Renan, the Firebird, 9th in the Radiant Line, and Jiran's armies had been badly beaten by the United Clans when they clashed during his reign. A structure like this would presumably take years to fully complete, and being that Jiran's reign is not too far back in Horizon's present history, I'd say there's a good chance that he had a hand in making this particular defensive position. Next, we travel to the Utaru lands of the Plainsong, which is heavily afflicted from the red blight that we've seen. In this section, we see several new machines. One scraping the earth with its head, seeming to plow the land in some way with a Triceratops-esque frill on the back of its skull in view above the foliage. We see another view of what I feel is the same machine, but perhaps a different variant, as it's equipped with two massive horns akin to longhorn cattle, along with what appears to be a shorter horn where its nose might be, again, like a Triceratops. We also see a group of Utaru in song hoping to heal their afflicted lands. We know the Banuk also hold the act of song in great reverence and importance, but here it seems to reflect their belief that much of their link to the Old Ones and those of the past is held in the earth they harvest, and as it dies, so does that connection. Further west, we catch our first real look at the Tenakth clans. Lowland Tenakth in what appears to be the Rain Trace and the High Turning, Desert Tenakth in Scalding Spear and Saltbite, and Sky Tenakth in what could be the Shearside Mountains, but looks closer to this unnamed settlement we saw in the release trailer. These three have broken the trend of intertribal warfare we know to be indicative of the Tenakth, and are currently in a tentative peace. But what could be really telling here is what we see as we are introduced to Regala's Rebels, the newest faction of Tenakth able to override machines emerging from the ruins of a long-fallen BOR-7 Horus, or Metal Devil. Specifically, a Horus that looks remarkably similar to the one we saw Sylens approaching with Hades during the post-credits scene of Zero Dawn. Cylons originally found Hades after the fall of Gaia in the ruins of one of these Titan-class machines, so it's not out of the realm of possibility we might find the subfunction here in the West. Lastly, we're teased that even further west, there are rumors of an even stronger tribe, one unknown to us, that are searching for secrets at the very edge of the West. With imagery shown, this would be all the way at the coast of the Pacific Ocean, in the Isle of Spires, the ruins of San Francisco. In the Forbidden West scanned glyph, we are given descriptions of those who reside where only the sun goes at night. Drinkers of machine blood, youths as pale as ash, and others only glimpsed on the shores of a great lake, riding thin, dark boats. Being that the Karja have no real concept of an ocean, the Pacific has been referred to as a great lake in these accounts, with waters sour to the taste and that push back against those who would attempt to cross. Who these mysterious peoples are, there's no real way of knowing, yet. But with the game coming next month, be sure we'll all be racing to find out what's really happening in the West. And that brings our journey to an end. If you'd like to see more content like this, likes and shares are always appreciated, and if you're hungry for more Horizon lore, consider subscribing and checking out the rest of our lore library. Also consider supporting the channel on Patreon, so we can keep making content just like this. Check out the link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep questing.